Okay, let's start the class. This is the first time that I see you, right? And that it's important. For a long time, we have been taking online course, and the interactivity is really not so good, right? So I'm happy that we are going back to classroom, and I hope that this situation can last to the end of the semester, right? Okay, it looks like the situation is getting better, right? Okay. So as I told you, every every week we will start from our course webpage. Okay, so this is the most important place, and if you come here, you have a lot of useful information, and most importantly, every unit has its unit page. Okay, this is week 2, right? So we have the week 2 page here. Now we come to the week 2. Scroll down. So this week and next week, actually, we are going to do basic programming. Okay. We have 3 things to learn this week. And the first thing is the vector operation and function call. This is a thing that you already do your. You have already done your homework assignment last week, right? So if you have done your homework assignment, by now you should already know what is a vector. You know, you have done some practice about the vector operation, right? You have done some practice on the function calls. But actually, the way that DataCam cover vector operation and function call is not very systematic, right? So in the beginning of the class, I will spend like 15 minutes kind of review these 2 important aspects of R programming, okay? And then also in your last week's homework assignment, you have already done some index, right? For example, if you have a vector and you want to like draw out the 3rd to the 5th position, right? The 3rd to the 5th element inside the vector, right? So you use index, right? That's called indexing. Now, indexing and vector operation is the core of R programming, right? So in the beginning of the class, I'll try to review these 2 important concepts, okay? And then since this is the first time that every team had a chance to sit together with each other, right? So we decide to have some fun, right? So we use what you have learned, right? Use what we have learned in R. I will give you a comics character data set, right? And we will use this data set, use what we have learned in programming, right, to do something on data, right, on an interesting data set, okay? And we actually will have some team competition at the end of the at the 3rd session this week, okay? So but before that, let me do some preparation. First of all, I should introduce our TA, right? Ellen, you might have know her already, right? Know her? Okay, Ellen. And where is the other one? Sorry? Oh, okay, so let me use the... See, it's very important to go to this website because everything is here, right? We can see the core staff here. Now, Alan, Tsai, you already know. And do you know which group you are in?
Yes.
Okay. So go to your team. And then the second one is no. Is that you?
Yes.
Okay, it didn't look like you at all. Okay, so this is Joy, right? And Joy and Alan would join us in the classroom every week. Okay, and we also have 2 two TA, they are from the MIS department, so they have a better programming capability to help you on the collaborative learning session. Okay, so they will be in charge of the collaborative session, Anne and also Emma. Okay, so this is your TA, and they also have the email also listed here, right? You go here, go to our course, and there is a course staff. You'll see all of our TAs. Okay. Now, let me go back to. Oh. Now, the second thing is I want to mention is about the AddDrop course, right? AddDrop course, the first stage AddDrop course has already finished, right? So after that, after the first stage AddDrop course, we actually have 17 students left in the class, right? So I assume that some of the people that has not come into the country may have dropped the course, right? So according to the result of the first stage AddDrop course, I have already do the team assignment, right? Okay. Oh, actually, I do the team assignment in a mathematical way, right? So that each team will have a different background people, right? And so you have a chance to learn from each other, right? Okay. So we already have the. Sorry, I go to the Chinese one. Okay, so we already have the team assignment, right? Sorry, what I mean by team assignment is the who is in which team, right? Okay, and then in this class we will have a lot of team homework, right? Okay, the group homework assignment, right? So and also during the class we will have a lot of group discussion, okay? So group is very important, and I know that the in the second stage of AddDrop course something would happen, right? We might have to reassign the team again and again. I think the team assignment would be stabilized after the third or the fourth week, right? But we do not have time to wait until then to start our team activity. We'll have team activity starting today, right? And because the team one already only have one people, right? That's team one, right? Okay. Oh, team one had two, right? So team two, how many people do you have? Four. Team three have three, and team four have five, right? Okay. So maybe I can draw one of the team 5 into the team 1, right? That would be you can borrow one member to them, right? So we'll have more balanced situation, okay? Do you want to do that now? Can you like those two in the team 1? Okay, can you like pick one of your team member from team 5 now? Can you do that? I will let you do this, right? Because when we start the class, then we will have some team. I will throw out questions, and I will ask the team to answer the problem, right? So if you answer it right, we actually have prize, right, for you. Okay. So team 1, do you want to like you know them, right? No. You don't know them at all? Okay, so let's do that in so can Yan Yi Ting are you there? So do you mind if you join team one? Right? Okay. So please move to team one so we can. So do you want to move to team one? So you sit together, right? Okay. Okay, so this is the team. Classroom, you are very lucky because we have very few people here, right? If you are in the other class, we have a big trouble this week. I don't know how to allocate them because I have 70 people. I cannot allocate them even when I borrow 2 classrooms, right? It's still too many of them. Hopefully, we'll have the pandemic situation cool down, right? All right. So just one more thing. Next week, it's a holiday, right? So what is your convention in the international place? When the class hit a holiday, do you have to choose a day to do the class again, or what is your arrangement usually? You just skip it, right? You just skip it. Okay, let's follow your convention. Okay, we will skip it. So the consequence, there's a consequence. Okay, uh, uh, you know that we have a lot of material to cover in this class, right? So skip one session means that we have to skip a class. Sorry, skip a business case, right? So at the end of the class, after we teach you the some basic technique, we will do case after case after case, right? So dropping 1 week means that we will have to drop one of that cases, okay? And well, that is the way it has to be, right? Okay. All right. So that's the preparation that I have to cover. Now, there's one thing that I need you to do right now, right? Our course material is actually on Google Drive, right? So you bring your you already bring your notebook here, right? Don't use the computer on the desk, okay? Do it in your own computer, yeah. Because the version of R and R Studio in the machine will be different from ours, okay? That's the first reason. The second reason is when you're doing your homework, you are doing it at home, right? Or you are doing it in the TS station. You must have the software installed in your own notebook, right? So up to this point of time, you should already have R and R Studio installed, right? Is there anyone still need help to install your R and R Studio? Raise your hand. There's one, right? So during the break, the TA will have you do that. It is actually quick, right? Just download the software and do it, right? Which type of PC do you have? Which type of notebook do you have? Mac or sorry? Mac. So how many one of you have Mac? And the rest of you is like Windows, right? Okay. So half and half, right? So I forget your English name. Joy, right? Yeah. Joy has the Mac notebook, right? And Alan has a Windows notebook, right? So you have installation problem, go to them, right? You can come to me, of course, but I don't know how to use Mac neither, right? Because I'm using PC. Okay, so now you have your RStudio installed. The first thing you need to do is like you should go into your RStudio, right? And there's a thing there's a preparation that I would be very helpful for every one of you. Okay, so if you press the file, this is actually where the RStudio gets started in your file system, right? And sometimes uh, basically I recommend you use a dedicated folder for this class, right? Okay, so for example, for the one who use Windows, okay, you might want to go to your C drive and actually create a folder. Maybe put the class name, right? IB533. Okay. You create a new folder, right? Okay. In your home, or the best way is to create a folder under the C drive directly, right? It will make things a lot easier. Okay. So you have this folder. Now you need to download the sorry. So you can. So from RStudio, you can go to the folder, right? Because in RStudio here, you can go to your file system, right? So you can actually go to the folder that you have created. Okay, that's the first thing you want to do. Okay, finish that. Okay. Then you want to download the class material into this folder. Okay, and it is very easy. Again, here in the unit web page, there's a thing called Google Drive, right? Okay, so if you go to the course material folder, you should see in every unit we will have a folder here, right? So this week we are in week 2, right? So go to week 2, you'll see that you have two things, right? You have the PowerPoint and you have a zip file. See that? Okay, so download these two things. Okay, download these two things into the folder that you just create. Okay. Okay, so the folder I've created is here, right? It's in 33. Okay, let's put it there. So now in the folder, you should see so in that folder, you should see a zip file like this, right? So you have to unzip it. So the PowerPoint is the PowerPoint that I'm going to use this week, right? And now you don't need this original zip file. You can delete it. And then this zip file is actually the code and the data that we are going to use, right? So every week we will have one of these things, right? So let me see. You have two directory in the zip file. So draw these two directory into IB533. So now under IB533, you should have a PowerPoint file, and you have two folders, right? And this etc folder is like a common folder for every week, right? So don't worry about it, okay? This etc folder, let me say it again, is the common material it's just some icons, things like that, right? For every week. So don't move it. And starting from this week, every week we will have a code and data folder, right? Okay. So you go to this code and data folder, you will see the code and data that we are going to use in this week's course. Okay. And also, so if you now you should already have do this, right? The zip file is no longer needed. You can delete it. Okay. Now go to your RStudio. Is the can you see the character? Okay. Okay, right? You can actually sit to the front, right? If you if you cannot see the word, right? So now because you should see that here you have the our code and data folder already here, right? If you cannot find it, you can actually press this, right? There is a 3 dot here in your RStudio, so press it, and you should see your file system, right? So what you need to do is go in your file system and find the folder that we are using, right? So press open, then you will be here, right? Okay. All right. So anyone need help? Is there anyone need help up to this point? Up to this point, you should see this, right? In your RStudio. Everyone is okay, right? Okay. Right. All right. So you see a lot of file, right? Don't freak out. I'll guide you through. Okay. Now, there's one thing that would save you a lot of trouble, okay? So the next thing you want to do is go to the tool here, right? In your RStudio, there's a thing called tool, right? On the drop-down menu, you press tool and press global option. Okay, okay. And then one thing you want to do is there's the browse. See, there's a browse here, right? So you basically place this browse, okay, and try to locate the IV533 folder that you have just created, okay, and press open, okay. Now after doing this, every time you open your RStudio, it will go to the IV533 directory, right? So after I apply this, now next time when you open RStudio, it will automatically go to your class folder, right? So it will make things a lot easier. And the other thing that I would like to recommend you is try to unclick everything here. Okay. These things are, well, in RStudio's point of view, give you some convenience, but for a new programmer, it would actually give you a lot of trouble. Okay. Okay. So unclick everything here, right? And in the workplace, put it to never, right? Okay. In your RStudio, if you go to RStudio and you go to General, right? Okay, you go to RStudio and go to General, they will see Basic, Graphic, and Advanced, right? So in this General and Basic dialog box, do two things. First thing is browse the IV533 folder, right? And choose it as your default folder, right? And the second thing is unclick everything here. Okay, it's not gonna help you anyway. And then in this drop down menu, choose never. Okay, okay, and then press apply. Sorry?
History.
Yeah, even the history. You don't need that. Yeah. And the history will make you very confused sometimes. Right? Okay? And press apply. And press OK. Okay, so right now you're ready, right? You are basically ready to follow us. Okay? Now let's go back to our unit web page. Now every week, starting from this week, we will have some notebook. My material is actually most of my course material is not in the PowerPoint. Yeah, we are programming course, right? So actually, most of my teaching material is is uh, is placed in what I call unit notebooks, right? So this is the three things that we want to cover in today's class, right? We have three notebooks. You will see code. If you can press one of them, then you will go to a web page, right? This is what I call. This is what I mean by notebook. Okay. So there's a title, and there are some text, right? There are some program, right? And the results of the program, right? Okay. This is a way. This is a way to put the text, code, and the output of the code together. It's called a notebook, right? I'll teach you how to do that. Don't worry about it yet. Okay. Okay. And in this format, it's a lot easier to do the teaching, right? Okay. For example, we can start teaching right now. I told you that the first thing I want to review with you guys is the vector and the function code, right? So vector and function code, and then we start with vector, right? So vector and vector operation is basically, you already have some experience in your last week's homework, but I would like to do it in a more systematic way, right? For example, you might want to know how many mathematical operator is there in the R language, right? So here is a hyperlink, right? So you can press the hyperlink, and it would bring you to the data, right? So in this way, it's a lot easier, right? In this way, it's a lot easier to cover what we want to cover in programming, isn't it? Right? So notebook is the major teaching mechanism, the major teaching material that I would use in this class. And every week, I will give you a few unit notebook, and this is the notebook that I will walk you through during the class, right? And then every week we will have some assignment notebook. This is your homework assignment, okay? You also do your homework inside the notebook, right? So if you go to this notebook, for example, this first notebook is Digital Detective. It's about car stolen event in Chicago, right? So I'll give you a data set, and then I will ask you a lot of questions, right? And this is the way that you will do your homework, starting from this week, okay? Is that clear? Okay? Now, let's go back to the class. Okay, I think that I have already covered the preparation, the logistics. Okay, let's do our class right now. So this week I will use the 3 notebook to walk you through and actually to review the basic programming in R, right? So after today's class, you should be able to if I give you a data, right? For example, I give you the car stolen event data in Chicago, right? You should be able to use the programming technique to analyze the data, right? To process the data and to take some useful information out of the data, right? So after all, why do we need to do analysis? We don't do it for fun, right? We want to analyze the data because we would like to extract some useful information out of it, isn't it? Right? Now, after today's course, you should be able to use the programming technique. You use this programming technique on data, then you can you should be able to let the data to extract some useful information out of the data. Let me give you one more example. For example, like in the digital detective notebook, right? If you do it right, you should be able to generate something like this. This is the 724, right? This is 24 hour, and this is Monday to Sunday, right? Okay. This is what we call Heatmap, right? Okay. So you can see that in the 724 in a week, during the day, the most of the car stolen event occur in the 22 and the 0 hour, right? So you can see that within a week, Friday is the most frequent time that car will be stolen, right? So if you are police department, this information is important for you, right? Isn't it? Right? So actually, if you learn more and more programming, you can generate something like this, right? Again, the heat map is still 724, right? 724, right? But now I put the place into the chart, right? So this is street, this is parking lot, this is gas station. Can you see that? The pattern are different from each other, isn't it? Right? So after you learn the technique this week, right, you should be able to use the car stolen data, right, to do something like this, right? Of course, you are not able to draw a very beautiful picture like this yet, okay? This thing we will teach you in the following weeks, okay? But up to this point of time, you should be able to generate the data table like this, right? Okay, this is the 2074. 24/7 event occur distribution. Yeah. So this is the way. One of the reasons that we want to learn the basic programming is actually in the realm of business analytic. 80% of time, you can use this basic programming to solve 80% of the business questions. Okay, only about 20% of the business analytic question you will need to build model. You will have to do some advanced technology, right? So these basics, don't overlook the importance of these basics, because yes. See, we will ask you a question, right? So if you get the data of a car stolen event, the first thing you need to ask yourself is, what can I do with it, right? What can I do with this data, right? So and because this data has the time and location of every event, right? So you want to ask when and where the car stolen event occurred, right? Isn't it? So most of the time in business analytics, this is the first thing that we want to know, isn't it? Right? And this is what we call by descriptive statistics. It's not modeling, it's not prediction yet, right? It's just like summarize the data so you have a holistic, you have a systematic view on the entire data. And to do that, you only need to do basic programming. You only need to do what I am going to teach you this in the following 2 hours. Okay? Okay. And of course, you need to do the homework assignment. Okay. Now, before we go to the notebook, right? Let me review a few things, right? This is what we have covered last week, right? I told you that R is not an official engineering programming language, right? It is simply a interactive data object computation environment. It's a data computation environment instead of a programming language, right? And doing programming in R is actually just a process that define or update data object with expression, isn't it? Right? So what is your last week's homework assignment? It will teach you what is the data objects, right? Your last week's homework assignment is basically about this chart, right? Well, programming, I told you, easy. It's just define or update data object with expression, right? What's difficult is when we talk about data object, there are different structure of data object, right? You have like vector, matrix, data frame, list, right? And there are different type of data, right? You have integer, logical, factor, and character, and the different type, different data structure need to be computed differently, right? That's what make programming difficult, right? And you already have some experience in your homework assignment, but it's not very systematic. So the first thing that I would like to cover in this week's course is I would like to give you kind of like a review on the data type and basic operation, right? That's the first two things that I would like to cover this week. So let's go to the RStudio. Now your RStudio should look like this, right? So we want to go to the first. We want to go to the first unit notebook. So you actually can access the unit notebook in two ways, right? In one way is you go to the page and you press the hyperlink, okay? You press the hyperlink, you will actually see the notebook, okay? Okay, but where is this web page come from, right? I need to write some program to produce this web page, right? Otherwise, this web page would not just like appear by itself, isn't it, right? So how this web page is created is actually you need to go to your RStudio, and this web page, the first web page is here, right? It's called Unit 2A Operator and Function Code, right? You press this IMD and you will see the IMD file here, okay? Did you follow me? Okay, let me do it again. In your RStudio, you already are in a position where all of the material, right, is in this folder already, right? Okay. Now do one thing first. You want to set this place as your working directory, right? Okay. First thing is like unzip the file into the folder, right? And then you want to set this folder as your working directory. Yeah. Now after that, you can open. There are two types of file, right? The HTML file is actually the web page, okay? And the RMD file is the program that produce the web page. Okay. Let me say it again. There are two types of file, right? For example, the unit 2A, there's a RMD file and there is a HTML file, right? The HTML file is actually the web page, okay? And in order to produce the web page, we will need some program, isn't it? Right? So the program is actually in the RMD file. Okay. So open the RMD file. You'll see the RMD file here, right? This is the file name. It's the RMD file. Okay. Now it looks very messy, right? so don't be freaked out. Okay. So actually, as you can see here, we actually mix the section, the text, and also some code, and the result of the code together, right? Isn't it? Right? Because it's easier to explain, right? It's easier. It would produce something like a book. That's why we call it a notebook. Right? Okay. So in the beginning, what you need to do is what you need to take care of is this code chunk. Okay, right. The rest of the thing, everything outside of the gray color code chunk is just comment, right? Okay, it's just the thing that I want to put on the web page. You can see that I'm do some annotation. I'm do some annotation to my program, right? So everything outside the blue color box is actually just annotation, right? So don't worry about annotation yet, right? Just focus on this gray box, and this is the R program, isn't it? This is the R program that you already learned in the data camp class. Okay, so in the beginning, don't worry about the thing in the outside, right? So actually, you can type everything outside of it, and everything you type in there will appear in the notebook. Okay, that's the way a notebook works. Okay, all right. So from now, so every week I'll give you a notebook. The notebook is I already have the annotation inside the notebook. You don't have to worry about that, right? What you need to worry about is this code chunk, right? That is the thing that you want to do, right? Okay. And well, on the top of every notebook there are some overhead, right? Something that we need to you can treat it like a logistic type of things, right? I need to set the format of the web page, isn't it? Right? Okay. So as I say, this code chunk is to do installation, setup, formatting. So to do not modify it, right? Okay. So when you are in the notebook, you want to execute this code chunk, you just press this button. There is an execution button, right? Try it now. Press this button. Okay. So after you press it, what happened? Arrow? Uh, what kind of arrow did it say? Sorry? I cannot hear it very well. No package. called what? Pac-Man? Let me see. Okay, so you will need to install the you will need to install the leader. Sorry, so the problem is here, right? Right? The neither, right? So what we need to do is you will need to install this package because this package has not been installed in your environment yet. So do this. You should do a okay, do install package, and then put a string, put knitr inside a double quote and do installation. Okay, have you done that? Okay. So after the installation of knitr, I think it would be you would be able to install execute this code chunk without problem. Okay. Okay. This is the installation, and then after that you should be able to execute this one. All right. Can you do that? Anyone has a problem, can you raise your hand so maybe our TA can help you? Okay. Can you go there and see what happened? We have 2 people having problem here. So for the rest of you, if you execute this box again, nothing should happen, right? You can execute it again, right? So if everything is right, you execute it the second time, nothing will happen, right? Okay. There's one more people need help. Sorry? So maybe you want to bring that to me? How about that? Let's take a 5 minutes break. Sorry, 10 minutes break. Okay. So I have time to